ES Audio.
I appreciate that beginning a business podcast up a mountain with some cows is an unusual start, but then some CEOs have unusual starts.
My first job I was 10. I looked after 30 cows. I had to pick them up at 7 o'clock in the morning, making sure they eat, bring them back in the evening at 7 o'clock. So that was my first job. I can't remember having then a thought about running a big insurance company. So no.
So where was this? Was a farm in Switzerland?
So I grew up in Switzerland, in a very remote location in the Swiss Alps. It sounds very romantic, but it's basically just at the end of the world. Very small village. You have cows, skiing, and mountains.
Claudio Gienal is CEO of AXA UK and Ireland, heading up around 10,000 staff and working with 645,000 businesses. It's a lot of responsibility, but so's looking after your village's cow herds when you're 10.
There's one thing I definitely learned there. You have to own your stuff. There's no way you could come home and say, like, I only have 28 cows. It's just a no-go. And if that means you have to go up for 2 hours up the mountain to get the cow, you do it. No questions asked. And the other one is that you have to bring the same cows back. Yeah, that's the other thing.
I'm David Marlson from the Evening Standard, and we're meeting Claudio in AXA's HQ in London, a far cry from the Swiss Alps. But the lessons learned there stay with you.
These kind of things do form you, don't they? Because I know that's part of the thing that stays with me. I have little patience for excuses. Because everything like, I couldn't find an excuse when I was 10 for lost cows, so don't come to me and explain why everything is complicated.
This is how to be a CEO. Claudio, here we are sitting in AXA's headquarters in London, but I mean, in your career, getting to this point, you've been a startup yourself, haven't you? You've been down there with the small companies, trying to work your way up.
Yeah, I did during my garden leave. I helped some of my friends to create a startup. So I've been there watching and helping. When a new business is born, and it's an interesting process, but challenging, but very rewarding when you get there.
Can you tell me a little bit about that startup itself before we get into some other areas?
Yeah, so basically it's a Swiss-based startup. It's a digital platform that connects insurers and real estate organizations with the suppliers. That's what it does do, and with the customers. I started very small in Switzerland. Now they try to expand into Germany and the UK. It's a fabulous small business. The team is doing a wonderful job. But again, they have very different challenges than what we have at AXA.
Yeah, I can imagine, but it must be incredibly exciting to set something up and watch it grow. I mean, I guess that's one of the hooks for actually starting your own business, isn't it? That's what makes things exciting.
Yeah, no, it's extremely rewarding. It's also stressful sometimes. Yeah, when you look for cash or money, but it's very rewarding when you see all the things coming to fruition that you planned and discussed with your friends and colleagues. Absolutely.
But I'd imagine there must be a lot of people considering starting a business, even post-pandemic as we are now, and all the things that we've gone through. What kind of barriers are there, or what do people perceive the barriers to be? Because I know that AXA did a report looking at this area. What are people concerned about?
Yeah, we did a survey here in the UK, and what we have seen is that 50% of the people we talk to, they admire the small business and they would like to do it. I think the two things probably they are most concerned about, one is the stress level that this brings with it. There is and then obviously also the insecurity about the financial outcome, because it's not, you don't have a job where you get your salary every day. So the main reason though is really the amount of work and the risk that you have to take on it, and the courage to do that.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's just set up her own small business, and she's waiting for those invoices to come in. She's put out loads of stuff. There's loads of money about to come in, but it's not actually happening yet. Those first few months can be quite scary, can't they?
Oh, they are. There's always a lag at the beginning between what you have to put in terms of work and resources, and until you have the first customers and clients sending you some money. And I think most of the ones I do know, they underestimate that time lag. So there's a moment of stress that comes with it, but then the more satisfactory it is when you see the first invoices coming in and seeing that what you do makes sense.
Yeah, I'd imagine she'll be quite excited when the bank account starts filling back up again.
I'm sure she will. I'm sure she will.
I will be as well. But we are in this post-pandemic era now. Is it scarier for small businesses, and is there help for them?
So it's interesting. I think more than 75% of the business we talked to said that they are still very happy that this has been the best decision ever in their life. So even after the pandemic, I do think there's a lot of positive things to be said about the small businesses that are ultimately also the backbone for our whole economy here in the UK. And interestingly, if you talk to them, more than 60% have a very upbeat, positive outlook in terms of what is coming their way, in terms of new customer needs, technology that helps them. And if you look at what has happened, I mean, they have been so resilient the last 2 years, the small businesses, and agile, and just found new ways to do things. So I think they absolutely have the right to be positive about what was coming, given where that they made it through the last 2 years.
Yeah, actually, that agility of those small businesses, I think, is a credit to companies here in the UK, the way that they adapted, the way that they changed. Some of them barely got through, but they did get through, didn't they?
Yeah, they have an enormous amount of work ethic. They really work very, very hard, which is part of it. And they also have lots of energy and new ideas, and they are not afraid of trying things out. And not making mistakes, which you do make when you do things. And in that sense, there are a lot of parallels to big businesses, but they are just much more nimbler. And as you said, most of them found a good way through the last 3 years. And I think all the ones that made it through are much stronger businesses nowadays.
That nimbleness is a great advantage for a small company. AXA's not a small company. You don't have that same level of, I guess, agility to move through. Did you have to change things? Did you have to change course, change direction to get through the pandemic?
We needed some adaptations as every big business here in the UK, especially as we had to ask everyone to work from home, as we were not essential workers in that sense. Only a few are and couldn't do the work from the office. So yes, we went through big adaptations, every big business or every business here in the UK. And now we are trying to find the rhythm to come back into the new normal as everyone else.
And now we have got through this. What kind of support can AXA give to small companies? What sort of things are you doing to help those people from the grassroots levels up?
So what we do, we do provide support in terms of access to information, but more importantly, we are an insurer.
Yeah.
So probably the easiest way to think about it is a small business, if they were like an artist in the circus, we are the safety net. We are the thing that you want to be there all the time with the right size and the right strength, but never have to use it. But it gives you this peace of mind to do what you want to do best and try out new things. And I think that's why we are here. That's why we're here for. Unfortunately, what we do see is that within the market, only 30% of businesses really do take out business insurance. So there's a large part of businesses, small businesses, that are not insured. And the problem is when something bad happens, they are not covered, which means they have to start from scratch again.
Such as a pandemic. And have people come through this and realize that business insurance is perhaps at least as important as a bank account?
I think people realize it, but then it's one of the things where we have to do a better job in making it easier for them to understand and engaging with them. We do a lot, but there's always more we can do. At the same time, I believe it's also on their side to just take a little bit more time to think about the safety net, to think how big it needs to be, how strong does it need to be, even if it's not what they really want to do, because they just want to drive their business. But together, when this comes together, we typically find very good solutions for the businesses.
And it's not just a safety net. AXA's launched the Startup Angel competition. It's now in its second year. Tell me about this. What is being offered here?
So basically, it's a competition for small businesses that have to be in the business for at least 12 months. And what we try to do is to give them some initial funding. As you said, that the first months are the most difficult ones. So this year, the two top ones would get £25,000 as an investment into their business. They will get support, mentoring, to really help them to have the best possible start with their new business. And it's just encouraging new entrepreneurs to overcome this step to try out things, because it is quite, as you said, a scary moment when you do these things, because we do believe that the small businesses are ultimately the backbone of who we are in UK. They are what makes us tick. They are the ones who support us, so we are very, very keen to support them.
And 25,000 would be quite a substantial amount to help a company get going. But are you looking at any specific fields? Are there any industries, or is it open to pretty much anyone?
It's open to everyone, so we are not limited to anything here. It's really about the basic thought, helping new entrepreneurs to take the step, because ultimately any idea that drives value for the society and allows them to strive is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about small business being the backbone. Without them, what would this country or any country be without small business?
I think nothing.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what keeps everything alive and working. Yeah, the thousands of people who have the courage to create new things, deliver new things, engaging within the communities they are, and allowing us to live the lives we do live. Yeah, with all the things we have around us. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to forget them. Yeah, when we always talk about the big companies, but in essence, they are much more important to keep us a society going the way we do.
And of course, AXA is a big company, but it was working very closely with those small companies. I mean, do you feel like you've got a good overview of how small businesses are working right now?
I think we do have some insight, in terms of what they do. We do, obviously, on the insurance side, business insurance. We also have a health company where we support them in terms of the well-being and health elements. So we do have some understanding. We spend time with them also, obviously, trying to understand what their needs are so that we can adapt what we do for them. But it's an evolving thing, isn't it? So as we move along, new things come up, like cyber is a new thing that didn't exist 20 years ago. Now it's something people have to worry about. The mental health element, which has come up much more the last 5 years, is clearly something that we talk much more about now than we used to. And it's quite often also an element that is underestimated by small businesses. If you are only 3 in your organization and one of you is out of work because of illness, a third of your workforce is gone. Yeah. For a big company, 1 person out of 10,000 doesn't make that big of a difference. So very, very important, again, helping them to stay healthy as a company, but also as individual.
Okay, let's take a break, and while the ads are on, go have a look at how you could win £25,000 for your business with the AXA Startup Angel competition in partnership with the Evening Standard. Head to standard.co.uk/AXA Startup Angel. It's really easy to enter, and there are 6 chances to win, including 2 top prizes of £25,000, mentorship and business insurance for a year. Entries close on the 17th of July 2022. You'll get terms and conditions on the website. That's standard.co.uk/AXA Startup Angel. We've spoken a lot on the podcast about the mental health issues, particularly the stress issues that have come up. I mean, have you guys found that over the last couple of years that the people you're working with, are they experiencing stress?
So we did this big survey at the beginning of this year around mind health across the globe, but also in the UK. And one of the findings was that that in the UK specifically, the level of mental health challenges is very, very high. Yeah. Now, one view is that's because we are more open to talk about it than in other countries. The other one, though, is also, I think, because there is more to be stressed about at the moment, with Brexit, with the pandemic, with the war than we used to have. Yeah. And in that context, what we also have seen is where employers get good support, can provide good support to employees, the outcome is a much better one, and people are much more likely to be happy and balanced than if they don't have support. So it does definitely make a difference.
If you don't mind me asking, how have your own stress levels been over the last couple of years? I mean, it's been difficult. It must have been difficult for you too.
Well, first of all, I don't think it has been more difficult for me than anyone else. Everyone else you have your private challenges, what we went through the last 2 years, and then on the business side. now I'm very fortunate. I have a nice family. I have kids and a wife that looks after me, so that has helped me a lot. And professionally, I have a brilliant team around me, where we are, well connected, and we really help each other. So that has helped a lot. Has it been stressful? Yes, it has sometimes. But what I try to do personally is just to make sure I have my balance myself. And that basically means I just need to take out for me, time for me, doing my workout or meditate, which the problem is I need to do it almost slavishly with an agenda.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, if it's not an agenda, I don't do it. But once it's there, once I have a plan, I'm pretty good to stick to it. I'm quite disciplined.
Do you know what's interesting? Listening to you talk about running a very big company like AXA, it's not that different really to running a small company, is it? It's all just done on a much bigger scale.
Yes, in principle, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You have to do the same things. It's just different scale. The challenges are then slightly different, and the impact of what you decide is much bigger. Yeah, because you touch then many more employees and many more clients. But in essence, it's the same thing you try to do. You try to make sure that the direction of what the organization does is clear. You try to have the best team you can have around us within it, in an environment where people can be the best versions of themselves, having some fun on the way, and be commercially successful.
Mentors, advice, that's the sort of thing that people need really as they're rising up, whether they're creating their own company or just or charting their own career. It's that kind of advice, and being able to get access to that is really important, isn't it?
Yes, it's for me, it's probably the most important thing to have experienced people who I can talk to, but without any filter, that I can just say what I think and get proper feedback. And sometimes you also have to ask for help. Yeah, I think that's something. That's one thing. I never waited for them to mentor me. I just asked them, and the good thing is, every time I have asked, everyone said yes so far. And I think it's true for most senior people. If they ask to mentor someone, they would say yes, because there's always something good for yourself. You learn new things, from the first person you mentor. So absolutely essential. Ideally, you can avoid some mistakes they made.
Yes.
But also, it gives you some comfort that you are not alone with these questions you do have along your professional career.
Yeah. Hey, mistakes are all part of it, aren't they? That's how we get to it.
Well, probably mistakes is the only way to really learn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because from successes you don't really learn a lot, but if you handle failures and properly, it's a big learning. It's the best learning you can have. And I always say it's good to have some scars on your back from your mistakes, because that means you have tried things out, you had the courage to go through it and then learn from it.
Cliche question, but what's the best bit of advice you've been given?
Best advice? Probably I have to split that question into two. One is from my parents. It's more life advice than professional advice, but that's was always be humble and treat everyone with respect. As simple as that.
Yeah.
That's what they would always ask me to do. My father still reminds me, especially now, that's independent where my job is, that still counts, and he's right. Professionally, it's probably, I had a very good Irish mentor, and he basically said two things. He said, look, Claudio, once you are put in charge for something, take charge. You take your responsibility. Don't find excuses, just take it. And secondly, do the right thing. And you know what the right thing is, but typically it's not the easy one. So make sure you do the right thing, even if it's much harder. And if you do these two things, you will be fine. And he's right. It's taking responsibility for what I do. I think that's important for every one of us. And then doing the right thing. And every one of us knows what it means. Yeah. We just don't want to do it because sometimes it is much harder than finding a way around things or doing the easy thing. So that's probably the thing that has stuck with me since I heard it quite some time ago.
That was Claudio Gienal, CEO of AXA UK and Ireland. For all the best business coverage, head to standard.co.uk/business. And there's a new episode of the How to Be a CEO podcast released first thing every Monday morning. Hit your follow button and never miss a show.